What's up guys, James here, how you doing? So this is a response to Jordan Owen's video, Game Over, the Media Education Foundation on video games. He's an excellent YouTuber, highly recommend you go check out his channel, and I'll leave a link to his video down below. Normally he deals with the anti-pornography activists such as Shelley Lubins and Gail Dines, but in this video he was dealing with a different breed of socially conservative reactionary fucking arsehole, and that is of course the Media Foundation's view on video games causing violence and all of that bullshit. His video's 2 hours 22 minutes long, but please don't let that put you off. Just check out the video, and I can guarantee that if you've watched past the first couple of minutes, you'll really want to stick at it and watch the rest. Very, very entertaining. I left a couple of comments on his video from my third channel, which I'll link down below, and you can click on from any fine internet browser. I'm having a weird problem with my internet browser at the moment. Firefox just isn't playing videos at the moment. Looked at the options and stuff, makes no difference, not playing videos, not playing Flash games, but I can sign into my YouTube account and post comments and the like. Chrome, I'm having another problem with. It won't let me sign in with my main YouTube channel, it will let me sign in with only my other one, which is really pretty bizarre, but it plays videos absolutely fine. So what I have to do is I have to go into Firefox, go into my subscriptions, copy the video location, go into Chrome, paste that video, and then watch it from there. And most of the time I'm too lazy to then go back to the original video on Firefox to post a comment, so I've been posting comments from my third channel quite a bit. If anyone's having any similar problems, please let me know how to resolve that in the comment section. And also, Chrome now has adverts for a website called Picastle, which is similar to PhotoBucket, but it's more open and more browsable. It seems like an alright site, but lots of people seem to be having problems where that seems to be posted absolutely everywhere they fucking go on Chrome. If anyone can tell me how to get rid of that, please also mention that in the comment section. So I thought I had a couple of things which I could add to the conversation. The Education and Media Foundation make two arguments, which, they make a lot more than two arguments, but the two arguments I'd like to deal with is that video games desensitize people to violence, and that they train people to become proficient killers. Now, Jordan does a good job at dealing with those arguments, and he also links to a bullshit episode where a 9-year-old kid who's a pretty hardcore gamer gets the chance to use a real gun, which he jumps at, but of course it's a completely different situation. There's a massive amount of recoil which is going to hit him in the shoulder, and it's quite shocking if you've never had to deal with that before. It's also extremely loud, and as a result the kid ended up crying, which kind of destroys the argument that video games are going to train people to become proficient killers. But just for the hell of it, let's grant the Education and Media Foundation those points. So what if video games really do desensitize people to violence? What is going to be the outcome of that? I think people are a bit soft these days a lot of the time. In some circumstances I think a little bit of desensitization could be a good thing. We've got all sorts of inventions which make life a lot safer. We don't have to deal with as much pain. We don't see people get horrifically injured very often. And it'd be kind of good for people to be desensitized enough to be able to deal with violent situations in a calmer, more level-headed way. In my own life I've seen people get quite horrifically injured a few times, and I've been the only person in the immediate vicinity who's been able to deal with those problems. While everyone else is running away or hiding in a corner or crying, I've been the only person who's desensitized enough to be able to deal with the situation. If any of that is due to video games or the media, I don't know, but it's kind of irrelevant. There is a positive side to that desensitization. And let's look at this argument that computer games do train people to become proficient killers. Now, this will explain the rather hyperbolic title which I've placed to this video, but yeah, pretending that that bullshit argument is true, shouldn't there also be a positive flip side to that as well? If it makes people better at being proficient killers, shouldn't it also make people better at dealing with life or death situations, dealing with hostage situations, that kind of thing? I mean, video games, they've got cover dynamics, and they've got stealth sections and that kind of thing. In like a school shooting situation, if let's pretend the Media Foundation are right, shouldn't that also have the effect that one of the kids will have learnt the skills, or being trained from the game, to then be able to dodge behind somewhere and stealth up and get to the assailant and then disarm them? Shouldn't that also be the case? Perhaps if they were right, if more people played computer games, 9/11 wouldn't have happened. There'd have been someone on board who'd have trained in those situations in computer games and been able to just knock out the hijacker, being able to stealth up to them and that kind of thing. So yeah, I see quite a flaw with that argument. People haven't really looked at that flip side. I mean, there's been studies which have shown that in some cases video games can exacerbate violent tendencies in some people, which is rare. And as Jordan has mentioned on other games, we don't limit the rights of the majority just because certain people can't handle those kind of privileges. At least we shouldn't do that. Jordan also mentions in his video that, when it comes to video games becoming like perfect simulations, which may happen in his children's lifetime or after, being like in the Matrix, then we can start having these moral arguments about, is it good to train people to be proficient killers and that kind of thing. Now, yeah, I believe that that simulations will get that realistic in the future. I really don't see it being a problem. I mean, we look at the most accurate simulations of violence we have at the moment, like cage fighting and paintballing, which no one seems to have any moral arguments against, really. And I've had a bit of experience doing those things. I didn't want to go out and immediately punch someone's face in or shoot them after doing so. Quite the opposite, really. I haven't got into a fight since I left school, and I understand that's anecdotal evidence, but I do think, from my personal experience, that having that confidence and being able to teaching yourself to stay calm in potentially dangerous situations will reduce violence quite dramatically, if anything. Theoretically, I think you could create a game which can fuck with someone to the degree where they will go out and shoot people. Hypothetically, once we get to that stage, I could create a game which goes into the player's Facebook account and creates perfect representations of their friends and family and makes them shoot at them and stuff, and if you leave them in that simulation for a month, they will become quite vicious monsters when they get out. But nobody's going to do that, and you're not going to stick someone playing a game for a month non-stop. That's just ridiculous. That's not going to happen. That's just not going to happen, and people wouldn't want to buy a game which does that to them. I've recently been thinking about possibly running some form of study about testing the effect of having an avatar which is either a match to the player or is different to the player, and seeing how that affects people's game performance. So you could create a game where you have a character which is male, and then you've got a character which basically moves and shoots and all that kind of stuff in exactly the same way the male character does, but with different animations and obviously appearing female, and seeing how that affects people's game performance. Would a female gamer perform better with a female character than they would with a male, and vice versa? Seeing how that affects it, because I think that having a character which is similar to you in the game would probably help with your and help you feel more involved and feel more personally active within the game environment. I think that's an interesting thought. It'd be something which I may possibly study in the future. One final thing I thought was kind of worthy of note was in the Media Education Foundation's video, they are complaining that there's too many heterosexual characters in games and there's no gay characters. And what I find hilarious about that is that we've now got people morally arguing against computer games because you can be gay or transgendered. I just find that hilarious. It just shows that no matter what the video game industry does, people are always going to bitch about it for stupid ass moralising reasons. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.